There's a part of the internet you're never supposed to see. Now, I understand why some people vanish without a trace. I thought I knew the internet pretty well. That changed. When I stumbled into the dark web, it started with a man who came into the gas station where I work. He always bought gift cards, never anything else. I never questioned it until the day he walked in, visibly shaken, and asked for $1,000 worth of Amazon gift cards. Curious, I asked why he needed so many. He paused, gave me this unsettling smile, and leaned closer. Ever heard of the dark web? He asked. I shook my head. Without another word, he slipped a piece of paper into my pocket and left. Weeks later, while cleaning my jacket, I found that paper again. It had detailed instructions on accessing the dark web. My curiosity got the better of me. I followed the steps, downloaded the programs, and finally, I was in. The first thing I noticed was a search bar with a list of popular categories beneath it. Skinning, mutilation, corpses. My stomach churned, but instead of backing out, I kept exploring. There were marketplaces selling identities, disturbing guides for creating makeshift weapons, and even forums for cannibal enthusiasts. It was like staring into a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. And then I found it. A live video stream. The page had a sleek, minimalist design with an Amazon logo at the bottom, suggesting payment via gift cards. The video was free to view, but beneath the feed was a chat box that flickered constantly with messages. Hundreds of users, maybe more, were watching. A man in a hockey mask appeared on the screen. His movements were calm, deliberate. He wasn't alone. Moments later, another man dragged a blindfolded woman into view, her wrists tied behind her back. Her muffled screams echoed through my speakers as she was forced into a chair. The chat exploded with suggestions. Kick her, cut her, burn her. The masked man stared at the messages, then began following them. The bigger man slammed his boot into her stomach. Her screams grew louder. Then, her face, blood splattered across the floor as the blows continued. I couldn't move. My hand hovered over my phone, but I couldn't bring myself to call for help. Then, a new message appeared in the chat. Slit her throat. The larger man picked up a knife, and the woman's screams turned into desperate, incomprehensible sobs. I slammed my laptop shut, my breath shallow, my heart pounding in my ears. But the sound didn't stop. I'd forgotten to turn off my speakers. Her screams filled the room, growing louder and louder, until I finally ripped the plug out of the wall. Silence fell, but it didn't feel like silence. It felt like guilt. I tried to convince myself to walk away, to forget what I'd seen, but I couldn't. I reopened the laptop, telling myself I needed to know. I clicked the feed again. Her severed head stared back at me. Hollow sockets where her eyes had been. Blood stained the chair she once sat in. I slammed the laptop shut and disconnected from the dark web for good. But right before I closed the page, a single message in the chat sent chills down my spine. Thank you for watching. The next show starts in 1 hour.